Welcome back to another action-packed edition of Fusion of Honor. You know, the powers that be didn't want us to be able to reach. We were almost at Review of Honor 25. We were almost right there on the cusp. I think we were at episode 23, 24.
Yeah.
But the powers that be said no. We got to come together. We got to bring in MLW Fusion. And just when we decided to bring in MLW Fusion, they decided to make a news announcement that, well, makes us a little sad. Well, changes the landscape of Fusion of Honor, if you will. But that gives us downtime. And if anybody can tell you something about Dragon Ball Z and downtime, that means, I think Ness could tell us, that means you're training, right? That means you're getting in that work. You're going back to the lab. You go in and see what you got to improve on, and that's what we're going to be doing. And we're going to talk about that announcement. But first, I got to introduce who my training partner, who my sparring partner on this downtime is going to be, and that is none other than the three-time baby-making champ. He sees that, you know, the unbeatable. Somebody beat her, but like the unshakable, somebody shook her. So maybe there's a chance, but he sees that Ronda Rousey is coming for his title. So the question is, what is he really going to do about it? But Ness, how are you doing this morning?
I'm doing fine, sir. And if Ronda does come for the title, I'll hand it the finger poke of doom. I don't want no parts of that. But yeah, man, we were on the road to 20 plus where we were already there. And then, you know, we got this curveball thrown at us. Say, hey, take on this new venture. Okay, cool. Literally, as soon as we started, we got to take a break. So it's like, so you guys just did that to derail our momentum. But as great as we are, we're going to keep rolling regardless of the momentum, because that's how great we are.
Absolutely, guys. And we need you, because of how great you guys are, to hit that like button, comment, share, and subscribe if you haven't already so far. So let's talk about this. We'll jump straight into MLW, since they are the ones who did a little bit of shaking up this week. So MLW has announced that after their May 5th episode, they will be going on a hiatus, and they will not be returning until July 10th. Now, there are a couple reasons for this. There are both, they're out of character, out of universe, real life reasons for this. And I think that Court Bauer, during the conversation with Alicia Atout that happened during this episode, he did a pretty good job of putting a in-universe spin on it. So the idea is that they are making the announcement that they're going to be going to Vice TV. They're currently on YouTube. They're going to be going to Vice TV. And on July 10th, they're coming back to the famous 2300 Arena in Philadelphia with a live show that will have fans in attendance. And we gotta have some kind of hook for that show. What is the reasoning behind that show? And we're gonna get that late in this episode. But Court Bauer, his in-universe spin on it is that you want to give fighters a chance to rest. Now, because of the way MLW works, their concept of we are different styles of fighting. We are, the brawling. We are the technical. We are the lucha libre style. We are the aerialists. We are all these sorts of things. Pure Resu, strong. Like, they've had legitimate kind of MMA style fighting in there. It kind of makes sense that you want to give people a chance to rest from an in-universe perspective, and even from an out-of-universe perspective. There are plenty of people, including ourselves, probably over the years, who have thought or said that maybe some of the larger companies could do with an off-season. And if you're a company like MLW that doesn't necessarily always have the funding to be putting on weekly shows, then that is great for the talent, because it gives the talent chances to go elsewhere, do other things, do some freelancing, whatever the case may be. They can do more to build up the buzz of their names, and it actually helps you to potentially drive traffic or drive audience viewership. So, Ness, are you looking forward to that July 10th show? I think it's in your neck of the woods, sir.
Yeah, it is. It's going to be in the 2300 Arena in South Philly. I was actually looking up tickets this morning. All the good seats are fucking gone. I waited too long. I wanted to do like the VIP packaging, get in early, do some meet and greets. I
You're
was
trying
I
to
was
meet
all
Selena
for,
Duranta.
man, if I could. That's neither here nor there because I get a little bit too excited. But yeah, man. So all the good, like I said, all the good seats are taken. So I gotta settle for like fourth row. I can't be, floor seat like junk guy
I
JJ.
was about to
But
say.
as long as I can at least be seen on TV, I'll come in my True Hill Heat attire. But yeah, man, I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be fun. Definitely ready to see a live show because I don't even remember the last time I've been to a live show over the past year. Fuck COVID. But yeah, man, I'm definitely ready for it. I'm definitely ready for it.
Yeah, and I think that with our announcement at the end of the episode, we have something to look forward to when it comes to that show. But in order to get to the end of the show, we got to start at the beginning of the show, and that means we got to talk about Rocky Romero taking on Geno Medina. I thought this was a pretty good match.
Yeah,
I
I liked it.
was kind of surprised by it. Not by, Geno Medina's pretty good in the ring, and we know Rocky Romero's history. I mean, we talk about him on the Ring of Honor side, and they
Yeah,
bring up the Ring of Honor connection during this, which is always great. I mean, I remember for months talking about how we were seeing people on AEW Dark that we were also seeing on NWA Power, and even some people that we saw on Impact, and I was like, we should get this synergy thing going, and then the Forbidden Door gets kicked down, and now we're seeing it even more on MLW. Now the question is raised. We were talking about this not too long ago. Could the question be raised of somebody like a Jacob Fatu coming over and doing some just insane, crazy shit
I would love
in
that.
in Impact? Whether you're covering it on Blunt Impact, whether AEW Recap is covering it, you're not going to see him on NX3, that's for sure.
Nah,
But
definitely.
but but regardless, could this be a door opening? Because they've talked about how Rocky Romero, on this show, they're talking about how Rocky Romero is that glue that keeps them connected with New Japan Strong. And I mean, the finals of, I mean, talking about Fusion, right? The finals of the New Japan U.S. Strong Openweight Championship
Yeah,
is MLW's Tom Lawler versus Ring of Honor's Brody King. Like, how that's basically the show.
yeah, honest, yeah.
So this match means a lot more than just the 9-minute match that it goes, and that's why a part of me was surprised by the ending, but then at the same time I thought maybe all of this backstage stuff is the reason for this, because Geno Medina, coming off of the loss against Richard Holiday, he's trying to have a bounce back win against the King of Sneaky Style, and Rocky Romero is just too good of a veteran in the ring to go down to somebody like Geno Medina, and Rocky's able to kind of put him away with a little bit of a surprise victory. I thought this was just a way for Geno to bounce back from the Holiday loss, but now, as the commentators were saying, he is two back-to-back losses, and we have kind of a surprise win for Rocky Romero. Could we see Rocky in the middleweight division doing something just to have a fun little program while these guys are all talking, backstage to figure out what they can do? What did you think of the match, Ness?
I thought it was a good match as well. I like the fact that Geno Medina is more that I'm watching him. I'm slowly becoming a fan. I like his in-ring work, but again, I definitely have to agree. I thought whoever he was facing this week was going to be, a bounce back win. But then when it was like, oh, it's Rocky Romero, I'm like, oh, he's not getting this win. It's like they're not going to bring in Rocky as much as it. That's the business where you use the established veteran talent to put over the up and coming talent, which is, it's always great and well. I just didn't see that happening, figuring out that this was going to be the match. Like you said, pretty much promoting the fact of MLW and New Japan. There's their connection there. So having Rocky go on and get the win, just having Rocky in the ring with Geno Medina that's a rub in itself, and then he just goes on, picks up the victory. Look, and it wasn't like one side. It wasn't a squash. Geno got his shit in too. So it just came down to the fact that Rocky was just that much better. And also, I don't know if it'll come up, but I can give you the results. Do you know who won between?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, we want to talk about that. We can throw that out there.
Sure, go
Tom
ahead.
Lawler goes on to win the New Japan Openweight titles, New Japan Strong Openweight title. So that is definitely, I want to see if they bring that over, which I hope they do, just for the fact that he won it. That can be, so many stories can just plot off of that, we can go either way, either which way. But like, then that's another thing for New Japan. It's another thing for MLW, and other, like maybe even Impact, like you said, like we have TJP, that's in all of these companies. He's literally in all three of these places. So who knows, man? I just want to see where they go with it. But the opening match was very good, and I want to see more of Rocky Romero and MLW, because I feel as though just having his presence there helps all parties involved again as well.
Absolutely. And that's one of the interesting things about MLW. We get a wide variety of fighting styles, as I alluded to earlier. And speaking of a wide variety of fighting styles, King Mo is in action with Dan Lambert from America's Top Team. Now, I know a good bit about MMA, not as much as some of our friends like Josh and Romeo, but for a second there, every time I see him, I'm like, I know America's Top Team. I've heard of the name, but I was like, is this guy actually with America's Top Team? And then I looked it up, and he is like the leader, head coach of whatever, of this fight camp, of this training group. And a part of me was just kind of shocked, because I've seen him. He was on Filthy Island and everything, but I was just like, wait a minute. So he knows this is not a shoot fight. Like, this is like, I was like, oh, okay, all right. That kind of throws an interesting wrinkle into it, but they give King Mo a quick little, shall we say, tune-up match. He's finally kind of getting a bounce back win from Filthy Island when he lost to Low-Ki, but I thought it was a little on the nose that the guy he was up against, his last name was Martyr. I felt bad for him. Like, I felt bad. As soon as King Mo came out, I was like, I feel bad for whoever he's going to fight. Yeah. And then they said the guy's name was Robert Martyr. I was like, oh, Bob. Oh, yeah. Bob. What's happening to you? Like, how is your week going, and how's it going to go after this? Like, when you go home tonight, you got to talk to the wife and kids, and you're just like, oh, shit. Yeah. Like, what is going on? But as you can guess, King Mo puts this guy away pretty damn quickly. It's just about a minute long. I think that's all that really needs to be said about that.
Honestly, yeah. But like you said, when I seen the guy's name was Martyr too, I said, oh no, this is not going to end well. No, already knowing that this guy's pretty much jobbing the King Mo to make him look good, but then the name puts it over even more. Like, oh yeah, I can see if you could at least get some type of offense in and there'll still be a squash. No, he didn't get any type of offense in. It was like a splat, not even a squash. It was a splat.
Yeah. There was really no shot. But we were just talking about that New Japan Strong results and what can happen with that belt. Somebody who may be coming after that belt, and it'll be pretty damn interesting if that's the match that you guys get at the 2300 arena, is Kevin Von Erich, who has a promo here about his feud, his back and forth with Tom Lawler, and that's something that I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to that match. Maybe it will be for the openweight title, because the Von Erichs are in New Japan Strong, if I remember right as well. So that is just, we're adding to these layers of stories that can be told. And imagine if one of the first title defenses, because we're talking about July, but imagine if one of the first title defenses for that openweight title is live crowd Philly. That is, if you're talking about the comparison of Western wrestling versus Japanese Eastern style wrestling, and New Japan trying to break into that barrier, even if the names aren't that big, having a title match in Philly in 2300 Arena with live crowds for one of the first times in a long time, that's one of the ways you do it, or you can do it. So that'll be interesting to see if that's where they are, and if they're building that through MLW. That'll be another way that we talk about this whole synergy thing.
Yeah, I was gonna say this. When I tried to get my ticket, Out of the areas, the north, south, east, and west, like at least the first 3 or 4 rows are all sold out. Literally all sold out. I don't know if it's bots. I don't know if people are actually going to show up and be there, but literally the first 3 or 4 rows from every section is sold out. So people are already, they're ready for this.
You know what it is? It's a battle between Jaquan and people using those sneaker bots.
Yeah.
I always say that because you wanted those shoes, sir.
Yeah, because man. Like if you've ever been up early on a Saturday or whatever day it was, thinking, look, oh yeah, I'm gonna get these shoes, and then they have you sitting in the queue, and then like 60 shoes and then got out the people, and you're just still sitting there, and then by the time you actually get through, they say that, oh no, you don't have it, we're out. It doesn't make for a happy Saturday. Trust me, I've been there.
It does not make for a happy Saturday, and we need to talk about how Ku Dao is hoping that he's going to have a happy Wednesday. And we've been in a queue for a while. We've been seeing this tension go back and forth between Ku Dao and TJP, and they're finally going to be facing off. But just before they're going to be able to do that, we got to talk about what we know is going to be our main event of May 5th, and that's Lio Rush putting the middleweight title up against Myron Reed. And I like the match. I like that we're having this rematch. I disagree a little bit with like one little tidbit of how it's being presented. They were saying, Myron Reed was saying that Lio Rush has not run through the middleweight division because he didn't beat Myron Reed, but he beat you for the title. So technically speaking, he started running through the division by beating you. Yeah. So I don't know. That part I was like, maybe they could have, just what happened a couple weeks ago. Oh, okay. We'll talk about it a little bit with a little bit more accuracy. But accuracy is something that Lio Rush is not that fond of, because he keeps asking Alicia Tout for the time, and she's trying to help him. She's trying to get him the time, but really it's the time of the man of the hour. It is rush hour, and I think that's gonna be a really good main event. What are you looking forward to that one? Who do you got?
These are both. Yeah, I like both of these guys. I definitely think it's a weird build for the fact that going into this, I thought Myron Reed was like the heel, and he's coming off like the babyface right now, just because the smugness from Lio Rush is just like over the top compared to what Myron Reed is doing. But other than that, that's just a small tidbit, like a little nitpicking of the situation. But I'm here for the match, though. I know these guys are going to show up and show out for sure.
Yeah, that is going to be a solid match. And now talking about our main event, I think whoever wins this one could be a contender down the line for that middleweight championship. So we know this story. And they do a really good job over the course of this episode, actually, to recap it. And during the commentary, I got to say, Saint Laurent and Ray Flores, not that bad of a commentary team. There are ways to improve, but not that bad. The heel commentator is always smart at finding a way to rationalize why he supports the heels, which, you got to appreciate, because sometimes heels do really dumb and messed up things, and that's kind of what TJP has done in this feud. But Ku Dao, the story of mentor and protege, it's a tale as old as time in wrestling, but they're finding new and unique ways to put a spin on it, because these are guys who can do 450 splashes, and normally we haven't necessarily seen that all the time in mentor-protege relationships. Yeah. But I was kind of hoping that Ku Dao was going to get the win. I was getting behind him, and I was thinking, this is a way to build somebody. You get that win over the mentor. You get that win over somebody who isn't always around, because they are signed to Impact. So that is exactly what happens in our main event. This is 13 minutes, just over 13 minutes. And it's a really good match. I like this one. I thought that they told a good story of TJP just having that level of hubris. And a part of me always, I kind of always have to bring this up whenever TJP is in big matches, because just the idea of it is boggles my mind. Him saying that he's never learned anything from any of the people he's been in the ring with, yet he was in the Cruiserweight Classic against Kota Ibushi. Like, ignoring anybody else he's been in the ring in, he was in the ring with Kota Ibushi. Like, a part of me is saying, is that a work or is that a shoot? And if it's a shoot, he's an idiot. But if it's a work, it's genius. Because every time that he gets it, every time his music plays and he comes out, that's the first thing I think about. This guy being an asshole and saying that he's never learned anything from anybody he's been in the ring with. So even if he's a face, I'm like, okay, he's a cocky asshole. When he's a heel, I'm like, this is even better. He's a cocky asshole. Yeah. And that's exactly how he comes across here. The idea that he is going to try to not just show Ku Dao the classic, I taught you everything you know, but not everything I know. I'm going to humiliate you in the process. I'm going to put you in submission moves. I am going to try to hurt you. I am going to try to just on YouTube TV, embarrass you in front of a national audience. And Ku Dao is saying, no, I'm going to find a way to win. So I like this one. But Ness, what were your thoughts?
Yeah, just like I like the way you put that. It's pretty much like the underdog story. Because watching this match, I didn't think that Ku Dao was going to get it done, man. And honestly, TJP was working this guy throughout this whole match. It was like the fact that he came out with the victory, it was like a jackal, I guess, trying to like pounce on a rabbit and eat it, but the rabbit choking the jackal, and then the rabbit being able to like run off and like hop off and shit while the jackal was like gasping for air so it doesn't die. That's kind of what it came down to, because it was like so one-sided throughout the whole match up until like the finishing stretch. But like that's the story that it needed to tell. Like again, I definitely agree. The fact that TJP isn't like, he's in MLW, but he isn't in MLW as far as like always there. So that makes sense for Ku Dao to go over. But he had a nice showing as well. But again, that's a trope in wrestling that you're always gonna, for the most part, you're always gonna appreciate, is that overbearing, over cocky, overconfident asshole of the mentor. Oh, I didn't teach you everything. I know, type of thing. But the understudy goes out and picks up the victory anyway. So that was definitely a good story and a feather in the cap for Ku Dao. And now I just want to see where they go with him from here.
Yeah, like I said, if he shows up to be one of the contenders, the first contenders for whoever wins that middleweight match on May 5th, I think that'll be a really cool way to keep building him up and keep building up that middleweight division. Speaking of building up divisions, let us turn to Ring of Honor.
Oh boy, I know where this is going.
Speaking of building up divisions, not too long ago, Ness and I were talking about how Ring of Honor was going to present this women's division, because they already have 5 titles? World, TV, Pure, Tag, 6-man. Yeah, 5 titles. And now they're reactivating the women's championship. So that's 6 titles on a show that has 2 matches per week. That is, we have definitely commended Ring of Honor's booking and the way that they're able to keep those plates spinning, but it's hard to do that with only 2 matches a week. So it almost comes as no surprise, even though it kind of is a little bit of a surprise, that Ring of Honor is announcing that they are going to be starting a new show, like a showcase for their growing women's division. It's going to be on YouTube. It's not going to be on Sinclair, the normal broadcasting, or on Fight. So that is kind of interesting in and of itself. That's kind of the surprise aspect. You'd think it might be on Sinclair because but I guess they own it regardless, no matter what. Also, a part of it that's interesting is that with the announcement, we still don't know who is really in this women's division besides Mandy, Session, Angelina Love, apparently Quinn McKay. Hopefully, I guess if Maria's maybe more useful than she is as even an executive, definitely as a manager. But
oh god.
Maybe Amy Rose is coming back. Maybe that's it. They put Amy Rose. She's gonna take this time off. She's gonna train up. She's gonna fit. We already know that Amy Rose knows how to take
a bump.
A bump. We know that she can take a suicide dive from somebody or something like that. So I mean, that's really all you need in wrestling, right? So she will maybe that's what's going to be happening. But either way, we are going to be getting women's matches on YouTube. I'm kind of looking forward to it just because of the unpredictableness of it. We don't know who they're going to be bringing in. There are a wide variety of names, especially with some of the people that were recently released from WWE. We talk about this idea. We talk about this idea of synergy, and maybe they are talking to NWA. Maybe they are talking to Impact and other companies and seeing who they can bring in on a short-term basis to kind of just be the groundwork or the foundation, no pun intended, for this women's division. But speaking of the foundation, we have to talk about this opening match. Now, I thought this was going to be the second match. I thought this was going to be the main event. And then in hindsight, I was like, no, those two insane brothers kind of deserve that spot on this 500th episode because they really are Ring of Honor. But just as they really are Ring of Honor, and we're going to get to that, don't worry. We have somebody in this match who really is Ring of Honor. He is the franchise. It is Jay Lethal challenging Jonathan Gresham for the Ring of Honor Pure title. I kind of felt bad for Rhett Titus and Tracy Williams. They didn't know who to support, really. They kind of were just like, all right, you're going to be on that side and Spike going to be on this side. And it's kind of funny because on Cage Match, it says Jonathan Gresham with Rhett Titus and Tracy Williams versus Jay Lethal with Rhett Titus and Tracy Williams.
It's like, hey, this is a family affair. Like, we're just everybody coming out.
It really is. And this match kind of showed why it is a family affair. The promo videos were really good. One of the things that commentary talked about, and I think Jay talked about in his promo video, was that regardless of the outcome, the Pure title stays in the foundation. It really was a family affair. These are two friends, two brothers who know each other very, very well, and I liked that aspect of it because in our main event we have blood brothers, and then in our opening match we have just a brotherhood, and it's kind of telling that story of that Ring of Honor. In not just honor is real, but family is real, and family comes in different shapes, different sizes, different forms. And for the foundation, that means sometimes you got to try to make your brother tap out, and that is something that is an interesting aspect of this because now we're kind of shifting the story of Jonathan Gresham pure matches, pure rules matches. Before, it was Gresham is absolutely wrecking people, and he is just finding ways to put them away. He is being kind of not sneaky, but he's being resourceful. I would say he's being more resourceful about forcing people to use rope breaks, forcing people to kind of need that breather. We saw that instant classic against Dak Draper where he found ways to put Draper away. But during that match, almost we started seeing interesting changes, interesting shifts. Now we are seeing that Gresham needs those rope breaks. Gresham needs the breathers. Maybe the burden of the title is starting to catch up to Jonathan Gresham. He's been champion for about 5 months now, and it has been kind of a grueling path for him. First the tournament, then all the people that he's defended against. Now he's still got the LFI stuff hanging over their head. He's got the fact that at one point in time he was the only guy in the foundation with a title. So there's a lot that is riding on his back. But at the same time, he's got somebody in the ring who is now the only person in the foundation who doesn't have a title. And Jay Lethal is, as much as he loves his brother, as much as he loves his friend, you make more money if you're the champion. Like that's just how it works in wrestling. So he wants that title, and this is a really, really athletic match. He makes Jonathan Gresham, I think, he used all of his rope breaks in order to try to get this win. But Gresham finds a way. And I liked that commentary talked about this. They said that Gresham has now won every match with something different, something unique. And that's what it means to be a champion. You reach down into that toolbox, into that bag of tricks, and you pull out what you need to do. But with Gresham, it's with honor. There is a level of respect for his opponent. He's not going to cheat. And what was it they said? Not a single closed fist was used in this match. A level of respect, and something that Ring of Honor kind of deserves for that 500th episode. But Ness, what were your thoughts about this one?
Yeah, I just want to talk about the entrance when you do see everybody draped in gold and Jay Lethal, he isn't, and it's kind of like, where's the feeling, where's the thoughts in that, because it kind of looked like he's looking over his shoulder, and to the side of him, you have Jonathan Gresham with the pure title, you have Tracy Williams, double champ, and then you have Red Titus, a tag team champ, and it's like, is there any jealousy? You're always going to be happy for your friends and family. We're all doing well, but it's like, what is these aspects where you're the main one that to say that you're not on quote unquote at that level, because they're all champions and you're the sole one that isn't. And every time that you have been given an opportunity to try to reach that level to become a champion again, and it's like you haven't there. You're like you're close but no cigar. So I think that's a story that they might start playing off with Lethal. Like what's going on in his psyche, that he's trying and keeps failing. But again, that's just like something if they go that route. But the match itself was great. This was a technical clinic. Again, no striking. These guys were just straight out there, just straight wrestling. That was something I didn't expect, honestly, because again, they are the foundation. There is a way that you can go about having this match and not making it be a way that, underhanded tactics or things of that nature. I can chop you in the chest and still respect you. But, these guys went above that and we're just like, look, we're just going to pure wrestle. We're not going to brawl. We're not going to take it outside the ring, things of that nature. We're just going to purely wrestle. The fact that Jay Lethal got Jonathan Gresham to exasperate all of his rope breaks, again, that's another thing that I'm not used to seeing as much as like seeing someone else use rope breaks. It's because it's Jonathan Gresham. That's what makes it hit as hard, because he's the one that makes you use your rope breaks. He's the one that makes you tap out. So having him put in this position is good. It adds depth to his character. It also, like you said, the promo videos before the match, Jay Lethal is like, look, it's a double-edged sword. It's because I'm in the ring with Jonathan Gresham that is good. I'm learning, and I'm forever gonna, it's iron sharpening iron, so to speak. But the bad thing is I'm in there with Jonathan Gresham. This is one of the best wrestlers in the world, a staple in Ring of Honor at the moment. He's like, oh, this guy, he almost broke my leg. He almost did this to me, almost did that to me, because he is the octopus. He is the foundation, and he is wrestling in Ring of Honor. So all these different underlying stories and all these other things that's going into the match definitely came out and played into the match. But then, at the end of the day, they are the foundation. There is that respect. And no matter however the match would have went, it was always going to be good for these guys in their camp with each other. So now it's like who's next? Who's next in the pure division to step up to Jonathan Gresham to see if they can take the title off him. But I want to throw something out there real quick. In the ROH group the other day, someone made a post about I guess Jonathan Gresham maybe being boring to them, and to see like, who do you guys think is going to take off him, or do you want the title taken off of him? And literally everyone that commented on that post told that guy that made it that he was an idiot. And like literally, and it was about like a good 20 to 30 comments. They all said, no, this isn't another company where you just hot potato the title. You got to put a title on the guy, give him some time to actually give it prestige and build it up. Like, we're not going to just, okay, Jonathan Gresham's been the pure title holder for X amount of months, and we're just going to take him off solely because he's had it for this long. No, we're going to make it mean something for whenever it does happen. I think this might be this can be a special thing where he can have it for a while and up until there is someone that can take it from him. But I don't think there's something that it needs to be rushed as, oh, all right, Jonathan Gresham's been, the pure champion for 5-6 months. Let's get the title off him now. Like, no, let him go on and continue to keep proving why he is the champion up until someone else can come in and show why they are a better choice to be champion than him at the time.
Yeah, I think I saw that post when the person first made it. So knowing that they got demolished for that horrible take, just like Thanos puts a smile on my face. But yeah, like that the concept behind that kind of boggles the mind, because the thought is, we always go back and forth about the fighter or the wrestler makes the title, not the title makes the wrestler. And there are some times where you continually building the title up so that in the off chance, or when you do need the title to make the man, it has the ability to do that. Like, whether or not people ever respect him going forward, Jinder Mahal can always say he was a WWE champion. Not everybody can say that. Yeah. Somebody like Rusev can't say that. Somebody like Samoa Joe can't say that.
Out of all people.
But Jinder Mahal can say that. And that is an example of the title making the man. But the only way that the title makes the man is if you have about 6 months earlier, you have AJ Styles versus John Cena at that Royal Rumble, where the men are making the title. That's how it works. And that's what we need to have happen with Gresham, because this title, while it has a long lineage and a long history, it is still new in the sense that they've just reactivated it. Yeah. You need to have an establishing champion that shows you what the pure title means and what this division means. That's why a part of me really wishes that Gresham was defending this title in other companies. That, I think, would be absolutely incredible with some of the people that are in other companies. Like, if we could see him in Impact up against somebody like an Eddie Edwards, or just the technical people that are in Impact. If we could see him in the NWA, because Ring of Honor and the NWA have, or at least had, some kind of working relationship. I don't know who he would necessarily, like, not Trevor Murdoch. That's like the worst perspective of technical in-ring. But hey, even if it's just a match against like Chris, like Slice Boogie coming in there and trying to take that pure title, something like that, I would always want Chris to win. But obviously he's not going to, because that's Jonathan Gresham, and that's the concept. That's the thing. Like, he's not supposed to win because Jonathan Gresham is that good, and that transfers to the title. This is a championship that and they bring this up. The finals was AJ Styles versus CM Punk. Two guys who have had 5-star matches. You don't play hot potato with this kind of title. No. That's the reason why the title. That's part of the reason why the title was not even redesigned when it was brought back to be in line with the design of the other championships. They left the pure title alone because you want that lineage, you want that history. So I don't remember the name of the person who made that post, but you're an idiot, and I hope that you go home and rethink your life. But somebody who, we talk about lineage, we talk about history, and we talk about people who never go home and rethink their lives, is Mark Briscoe and Jay Briscoe, because they know who they are at all points in times. Even if Jay Briscoe looks like he doesn't know who he is when he's talking to EC3 he knows who he is. He's a guy who's brash mouth. He's going to punch you in your mouth if you talk shit to him. He knows exactly who he is. And Mark Briscoe may appear that he doesn't know who he is, but I think deep down inside he knows who he is as well. These are two brothers from Sandy Fork, Delaware, and they are Ring of Honor. If we talk about, Jay Lethal being Ring of Honor, you have to talk about the Briscoes being Ring of Honor. And that's the reason why at last year's anniversary show that got canceled due to COVID, they wanted to have Mark Briscoe versus Jay Briscoe. And here we are having it at this 500th episode of Ring of Honor television. These are two guys who, I gotta say, I feel like Mark Briscoe out wrestled Jay Briscoe in this one. I feel like he just out everythinged him, and it was pretty interesting to see. Jay Briscoe has always been the I don't want to say like, I mean, I guess he has Shawn Michaels to the Marty Jannetty, but if Shawn Michaels and Marty Jannetty were related to each other, I guess. So I mean, he's always been that person, and Mark has always kind of been comfortable taking that back seat.
Yeah.
He knows that he's there to support his brother, and that's not to take away anything from Mark Briscoe as a singles wrestler, as we see during this match. So this was a good match. This was a fun match. I kind of liked the finish. So the way this works is it is a table spot. It is just as how the Foundation stayed in the ring. These guys go out of the ring because that is just their tendency. That is where they are more comfortable outside of the ring than they are inside of the ring, and we've seen that over the years. And they kind of give us that little bit of a taste, that sense of nostalgia. Like they don't need to do the table spot.
No.
But they know that that's kind of what we want from a match where Briscoes are involved. And they understand that there's a level of history here. And you got to appreciate the fact that just for the sense of history and living up to your namesake, that these guys were like, yeah, we'll go through a table. Why not? What else is we might as well. But because as fallout from that table, there is a count out win for Mark Briscoe, where Jay is just unable to get back into the ring. And I liked it because it protected Jay Briscoe as the guy who is supposed to be the singles star out of the two of them. But it gave Mark Briscoe that little bit of a rub. You could almost say that Mark Briscoe is crazy enough that he can beat a 10 count. He is that crazy that he can push past the pain, and Jay Briscoe just for whatever reason could not in that moment. So I like the fact that, like, I was expecting Jay to just get the win.
Yeah.
And especially because during that promo, the promo video like a couple weeks ago, Jay was like, "You're my brother and I love you, but I'm gonna whoop that ass." And in this situation, Mark actually is the one who beats the shit out of Jay Briscoe in that sense, and I liked it. I thought it was a fun main event, just a fun overall episode of Ring of Honor. But what did you think, Ness?
Yeah, definitely a great main event. Man, Mark had something to prove. That's pretty much what I got out of it. He had something to prove. Just like we said, we've talked about it ourselves. Jay Briscoe, when you think of the Briscoes, the first brother that comes to mind more often than not is Jay, the star, so to speak, for the lack of a better term. Again, no disrespect to Mark Briscoe, but Jay Briscoe has a staple being a former Ring of Honor World Heavyweight Champion. So that's going to go above and beyond his stints as tag team champion. Again, historic in itself for not only for the Briscoes, but for Ring of Honor as itself. But when you're the top dog, that's what people are going to remember you by. So that's a lot of that gets accredited to Jay. And Mark went to this match, in my opinion, with that on his mind. He says, like, look, everybody knows Jay is the brother out of us two. I can hold my own. I can do exactly what Jay does, but it's just that I haven't reached that pinnacle yet. So he had to come out there, and he made so that, look, I'm not Jay, I'm Mark, and you're going to respect me as much as you respect Jay Briscoe. Him kicking out of the Jay Driller, I definitely didn't expect that. That definitely gave the momentum for him. Like, all right, so they're going to he's going to continue to keep fighting, or it's just going to lead to, further on the match, and he's going to take a harder L. But, they spun it around. They said, look, this is going to be Mark's time, which, again, Jay Briscoe, being that brother, more than often than not, getting the more opportunities and the more notoriety over Mark, they finally give him one up on his brother, and he gets, a count-out victory, which was a good. I think that was the best way to go about it. They necessarily didn't have to have Jay take a pinfall loss. because that definitely derails you in whatever momentum you're having. And I think they're going to continue to push Jay for whatever they do next, whether it be a singles run or more back for both of these guys in the tag team division. But the Froggy Bow to the table. Well, one, let's just start there. All right, we're brothers, we're tag team partners. I'm going to put you through a table. What the hell, man? Like, we have to move on after this episode. We have to move on after this match. And you want to put me through a table? What the hell? But again, that's the Briscoe mentality. These guys are here to fight. They're here to entertain. And just like you said, if one of us got to go through a table, if not both of us got to go through a table, we know that this is going to be something that the fans want to see. This is something that we want to do to each other, because this is what we've been doing all our lives. Before we even became professional wrestlers, we've been fighting as brothers, together and against each other. And this was just another showing that, when we're fighting against each other, one of us got to go down. And in this case, it was Jay Briscoe taking the Froggy Bow through the table, getting the count out victory, again, protecting him, not making him take the L, so to speak, with a pinfall loss. So overall, the booking, I think, for the match was great. The finish was great. And just overall underlining story. Because then at the end of the day, at the end of the match, they shook hands, embraced each other as brothers, and that was the ending of the show. So we didn't get it for the anniversary show, but of last year, but the 500 episode, that's mostly an anniversary in itself too. So why not have it here? And it was pretty much the same feeling overall.
Yeah, and I think Caprice Coleman probably gets the line of the night between Ring of Honor and MLW Fusion when he points out that if he remembers right, Jay Briscoe is the reason Mark is missing those front teeth.
Yeah,
that might have been like, I didn't know if that was real or not, if that's true, but I was just like, it's probably true.
Yeah,
probably true.
I think Mark in a promo video, I think if it was I don't know if it was for this episode, it might have been the one last week when they were building up this match. I think he mentions that he's the fact that he's the reason why he lost his two front teeth. But even with that, so I'm like, look, if you can knock out my two front teeth and be my brother, I think you can put me through a table and we can get past it.
Yeah, and we're talking about what's moving forward with Fusion, moving forward with Ring of Honor, where we see that next week we're gonna have some people who are trying to knock some teeth out of each other's mouth. We're gonna get Violence Unlimited versus LFI, and that's where we are building towards that Brody King versus Roosh rematch. But one thing we got to make sure we cover is that we know, speaking of big matches, we kind of know what our main event of that July 10th show is going to be for Fusion, because the end of Fusion, I forgot about this earlier, I'm not sure why, but our boy Hammer lays out the challenge. He says, I don't know why we have basically two heavyweight titles, because I am the national openweight champion, but I'm a heavyweight and nobody beats me. So it's basically a heavyweight title. And we have Jacob Fatu, the MLW world champion. So he lays down the gauntlet. I don't know if this is a unification or just a winner take all, and they're a dual champion, but Hammerstone is laying down the challenge for Fatu at this July 10th show. And we talk about how, guys make the championships, right? Gresham is making that Ring of Honor Pure title. We talk about how Roosh is putting his own spin on what it means to be world champion, and we're going to be getting this Brody King versus Roosh rematch, this Violence Unlimited LFI. We still got Foundation still in the back. Like, now they've moved to the back, but they can still easily be injected into the storyline. We got to talk about this national openweight title versus the world title for Fusion. I know it's early because this is end of April. We're talking about something that's happening in 2-3 months in July. But if we get Hammerstone versus Fatu, who do you pick in that?
Oh man,
I'm taking Hammerstone. I gotta take Hammerstone.
I see. That's what I want to go with Hammerstone, but the thing is, it's like both these guys have been champions for like the last 2 years, so
Yeah.
they pretty much been on a collision course, underlining that under the radar. Um, I don't know. I feel as though at the moment Hammerstone's pretty much out on an island by himself. He doesn't really have backup. Jacob Fatu, not that he needs Contra, but it's like, all right, it's like that the ultimate good versus the ultimate evil, but the ultimate evil has ultimate evil backup. So it's like, all right, how good is the ultimate good? Now I can see where you come from with Hammerstone because he's just been on a tear as well. So that would put him over even more to go be the one that finally defeat Jacob Fatu. To even if Contra, if they come out and try to assist and he takes them out as well, that would be the biggest feather in the cap of Hammerstone. But it's just like, I don't know, man. The Samoan werewolf, I almost call him Darewolf. PJ Black, my bad.
Let me just run down for you a little history of that national openweight championship. So the youngest champion, Alexander Hammerstone. The oldest champion, Alexander Hammerstone. The lightest champion, Alexander Hammerstone. The heaviest champion, Alexander Hammerstone. The first champion, Alexander Hammerstone. Still champion, Alexander Hammerstone. By the time that show rolls around, he will have been champion for 2 years. June 1st, 2019 is when he won that title.
Oh yeah.
They are putting like, I mean, Hammerstone has had losses, but they are basically putting like undefeated versus undefeated guys and seeing what's going to happen. The reason why I think Hammerstone might win is because they have a babyface champion going into the Vice TV era of being on TV there, and you kind of get over the evilness of the heel if he's trying to take that title from the face. That's probably the only reason why, because Fatu's been on that level of dominance, and I want to see these guys in other companies. Like that's where...
I agree. I definitely agree with that, especially just like we were talking about with the Pure Championship. I would love to see Jonathan Gresham in MLW defending that. Like there's guys like TJP, Filthy Tom Lawler. Like there's guys that can work the style of the Pure division in MLW. So I would love to see that. But yeah, as far as Hammerstone and Fatu, I'm just glad that Vice is picking up MLW because these are two guys that I believe should be on TV. MLW, with YouTube and, fight, things of that nature, those are outlets that people can witness MLW, but not everyone is going to have it. Just like not everyone is going to have Vice in their cable or just on TV possibly, but it's still on TV. So that's something that these guys, I believe that they definitely deserve. Just off of their own merits. But then now that it's coming down to a 1A versus 1B thing where you have two guys that have been on a tear for the last 2 years, pretty much undefeated in their championship reigns. Now this is a big fight field for a big thing such as a TV deal. So yeah, I don't know, man. Like I'll be happy with whoever it is, but it's just like it's hard for me to pick one of the two because it's like, what can you like? It's not a bad choice for either one, but like you said, you got to run it down. Like Alexander Hammerstone, he's been this champion. Now, whereas Jacob Fatu has come out of nowhere, got the title, and has just had it hostage for the last 2 years. Hammerstone's going about it a completely different way. He's had the title for this length of time, but we've seen growth. He hasn't always been this baby face guy that's going into this match against Jacob Fatu. Jacob Fatu's just been that same guy like the last 2 years. So I can see Hammerstone getting it just based off of the fact, like you said, babyface going into this new era of MLW. So that would make for a good champion if they do the unification. That it's unification mania in pro wrestling right now. Post I wouldn't say post-COVID, but like that's what pretty much the post-COVID era is like unifications of titles. So
Yeah,
that's going to
yeah.
be they're just throwing their hat into the fray now as well.
Yeah, we've seen it in what, New Japan,
Japan,
Impact,
Impact,
now Impact again
yeah.
with AEW. So
Uh,
yeah, wow.
there was a not that it is as important, but like even in the NXT with the cruiserweight titles, because
Yeah, no, yeah.
that was one too. So it's something that's going through just pro wrestling as a whole and not just committed to one company in itself. So that's definitely a great thing in itself.
We shall have to see if who wins in that war of consolidation, that moonsault that Fatu hits, or if Hammerstone can get him up for that nightmare pendulum.
I don't
Yo,
know.
I don't know.
That's just something that I gotta see. Like I have to see because Fatu is as agile he is. He's a fucking big guy. But like, and then when you have to have because I don't see that match being anything less than like 20 plus minutes to a half hour, even probably longer than that. And as the match is going on, you both getting tired. That dead weight comes in, and you're trying to lift him up for that. If he actually pulls that off, he deserves a win just for that. For that solely alone, he deserves it.
And that's why, guys, you can see why Ness is frustrated that Jaquan
Yeah.
and Sneaker Bots are keeping him from being
Front row, man. What the hell? I wanted to be front row. I seen it. I'm like, oh man, all right, let me try another section. No, it's gone. Let me try another. Shit, now I gotta settle for fourth row tickets. God damn it.
Ness is gonna spirit bomb every single Sneaker Bot he sees. But guys, as we move forward, going into seeing because that's the thing, that's what's going to be interesting about this. MLW, they're not really going to be able to promote this match through episodes. That's going to be interesting. And we ourselves are going to kind of be reverting, I guess, a little bit to more of a Review of Honor feel. But I'm sure that MLW is going to be doing some kind of recap episodes, promo videos, things like that. As that news breaks, we will be bringing it to you here on Fusion of Honor. And that always brings up a good question. Ness, where can the people find you?
You guys can find me on Twitter at skinny_Kravitz. You can follow me on Instagram at skinny__Kravitz. And as always, catch me on the Trio Heat YouTube channel. One half of Fusion of Honor. One man is StatKing, the man of 1,004 numbers. You can also catch me on Blunt Impact and Joints of Jabronis with my man Chris G. We formed the Pie Heels. The newly found NX3 with myself, Chris G, and Romeo Anthony Colon. The Roundtable Rebels, catch me on the Roundtables. And as always, you can hear my illustrious voice on True Toxicity.
And guys, you can catch me in our various Facebook groups getting into to fun conversations with you guys. And you can catch me on Dark Power covering AEW Dark Elevation, and NWA Power. Hopefully we see some of these guys, that we're talking about here on Ring of Honor and MLW show up in the NWA, show up on AEW. Doesn't have to be on Dark. Put them on Dynamite. Do what you got to do. They show that they can get it done when it comes to Kenta, when it comes to Thunder Rosa. So why not? That's where we, just as we are talking about how title unifications is all the rage, so too is working with each other and building, quite literally fusion. Quite literally having
that literally just came to mind too. I'm like, oh, this is really a fusion.
having that fusion together. So guys, until next time, we will be with you every single step of the way as we figure out who is going to be our unified champion or dual champion coming out of that July 10th show, and who is going to be our Ring of Honor World Champion, as Brody King, he can't get the job done in Ring of Honor at Final Battle. He can't get the job done against Tom Lawler in New Japan Strong. When is this guy going to be able to just get a title? What is he going to get? Oh, my gosh. And it's really funny because in New Japan, Dickinson is part of Team Filthy.
which is ironic as hell, because now that's going to be something where let's see where they go with that.
That'll be that, and that's kind of the interesting thing when you see companies telling different stories involving different people. If you bring them together for a super show or something like that, what takes precedence? How does everything work together? How does it all gel together? That's something that is going to remain to be seen, because I would hope that New Japan and Ring of Honor are kind of building back together their relationship. But guys, like I said, we will be with you every single step of the way, covering it all. We will see what happens. At the end of the day, take care of yourselves, take care of each other. We'll catch you later. Peace.